right, now I'm joined by my good friend, Ali Abdelaziz, I must say, who went on to become, when I knew this guy, we were just regular guys, we were hanging out, we're getting workouts, and all of a sudden this guy is the manager to the stars. I mean, Ali, what do you got, about 300 guys? Am I exaggerating? Do you rep about 300 fighters?
No, I have a development program. I have a lot of guys in Russia, like younger guys. I don't really count them, but I think I have maybe 120 on my roster.
Okay.
Like in the UFC or PFL or Bellator or in a different promotions.
I mean, I feel like we're saying the same thing, right? Once you got 3 digits, buddy, I mean, that's got to be a handful, but you also got a whole bunch of champions. If I may run down the list and just get caught up on a few, I've been following 2-time Olympic judo gold medalist. I'm talking about Kayla Harrison. She's doing great. She's in the finals of PFL. How's her training looking?
PFL, I say a lot of things and a lot of people kind of doubt it throughout the years. Like I say, Henry Cejudo is going to beat TJ and DJ. I say Khabib is going to finish Conor. I say a lot of things. And the reason I say these things, because I train with these guys. I felt them. I know what they can bring to the table, right? Kayla Harrison, the first time I felt her, it was like I was in her garden and she armbarred me. And I was like, I can't treat her like a girl. I start like going really hard with her. Not like crazy, just she's not, she doesn't feel like a just a normal girl. She's a super athlete. She's, my opinion is she's the greatest. She'll be the greatest woman ever seen fighting MMA. She possessed so many skills. She's determined. She's a little bit sick in the head. All she think about is one thing: is gold. This is all she know. This is all she have, and this is all she's gonna do. And PFL gave a great opportunity. She's making really good money, and she's gonna fight for $1 million. And she's gonna become a champion on December 31st.
And Ali, I got to tell you, it's interesting that you talk about her mindset, because one thing you'll know that I think you'll agree with as a judo practitioner that I brought to the table as a wrestler, it wasn't our skills. It wasn't your foot sweeps and it wasn't my takedowns. It was knowing how to go out and compete with somebody. Shake hands, people are watching, dealing with the nerves in the back. When I watch her, when there's always a comparison to Ronda Rousey because of the Olympics and the medals, but when I do watch those ladies, the one thing that I really see, I don't see them showcasing judo any more than a wrestler. Henry Cejudo, who you mentioned, showcases wrestling. They're showcasing an ability to compete. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, like this kind of athlete, like Henry Cejudo, like Mark Madsen, like Kayla Harrison, they are competing. Like you see Henry and Marlon, I manage both guys. A lot of people said Marlon is the best fighter, but a lot of people said Henry might be the best competitor. And Kayla, definitely, she's one of the best competitors we've ever seen. And I know a lot of people compared to Ronda. Ronda is great, but Ronda never accomplished what she accomplished as a competitor in the judo field or Olympic field. But, Ronda accomplished a lot of great things in MMA. Kayla have not accomplished yet. But I'm very, very sure she will accomplish everything Ronda accomplished, and even much, much more when you come down to history, because she has 2 Olympic gold medals. She's the only woman or man in U.S. history to win an Olympic gold medal for judo. It's not even a man won an Olympic gold medal.
It's incredible. That's an incredible feat. She's a great athlete. She's doing a great job. Let me move you forward to just next weekend. Kamaru, Usman, Colby, Covington, finally going down. Now, I wouldn't expect you to be able to, I know who your guy is. Your guy is Kamaru, but in all fairness, I mean, that's the fight, right? We have at least narrowed it down to the 2 baddest guys. I really think that Colby does deserve that respect for winning the interim title. Obviously, Kamaru deserves that respect for being the world champion. This is the fight, though. Can we agree?
For sure. You see a lot of welterweight fight, the PMF and all this kind of stuff. For me, this is good fight for the fan, but they are irrelevant. They don't move you. They don't make, they make you a little bit more money. They make you a little bit more famous. But realistically, is the best two guys in the division are fighting. Hate Kobe or like him, the guy is a competitor. Like when you look at Kobe, right? When I look at Kobe is not a fighter. Kobe is a competitor, and he competes very, very well. Great conditioning, coming forward, great pressure. But he have a problem on his hand December 16, because Usman is a great athlete. He's very strong, great gut tank. and he is a competitor and he's a real fighter.
For
You know,
sure.
and he's probably, and I have to be very careful because I believe I manage some of the best fighters in the game. Uh, but I feel is the most dominant fighter I managed today is Kamaru Usman because I train with him and I train with a lot of them and I feel him. He doesn't feel like a normal human being. He's from other planet. Believe me, and I'm not just trying to hype him up. And he's just different, and his mindset is different. Listen, guys built like Kamaru Usman in wrestling, in the Olympics, and in a combat sport, they're not supposed to have a good gas tank. They're supposed to melt. This is the reality. I'm being real. But this guy, he have conditioning for days. He have power. He's a superior striker than Colby. I believe he's a superior wrestler than Colby. And I feel he's a superior fighter than Colby. But we respected Colby very much as a fighter. We have zero respect for him as a human being or as a person. And this is real. We just, I'm not going to hear to be Mr. Nice Guy. I try to be a better man every day, but this is the reality. We competed against a guy we don't like, but it's not personal. December 16 is business, and we will handle business like we always do.
If Kamaru gets by Colby, just a guess, but where do you see that division at? And the reason I'm asking, Masvidal, obviously, from a competitive standpoint, will qualify for a world title fight, but I don't know that that's the direction he's going to go. And then you've got some other big names returning to that division. If the rumors on Nick Diaz are true, even Nate Diaz, though we've seen him twice in 6 months, is still a guy that's returning to the division. I'm just saying, where do you think Kamaru would end up? Do you even look at that? But who would you guess would be next? It's a pretty jammed up division.
Our main focus is Colby, just to be really honest with you. I'm not looking past Colby at all. Usman is not mess Colby, but from an outsider standpoint, Masvidal is the right contender. He earned it, but I don't think Masvidal. He understands who is who. He understands he's on a good streak right now. He's hot, but he understands he can beat a lot of bums and make a lot more money than fighting Usman and get reloaded, right? And this is the fact. I respect the guy. I think he's a good fighter, but I think stylistically, the history show he does not do well with guys like Usman. But for sure, if the UFC offer him and said he's next, he have to be next. He's on a great streak. He's been knocking people out, but I'm not sure if that's the right fight for his career.
Okay,
I don't think so.
So
I think he should fight. If I was him, I'll fight Nate Diaz or I'll fight some fun fights before I can. Because world title, it's just people doesn't care about belts anymore. It's about publicity contest.
Sure.
Who's more famous? Who make more money? That's what the sport have become.
Sure, that's the business. I understand. We're in that era right now. But as we're looking at 170 pounds, I don't know as we're going through the names, the new name. I was throwing out Nick Diaz, and I brought Nate into it, and now Masvidal's a big star. I don't know if I should be saying Conor McGregor's in that weight class. Conor McGregor comes out of nowhere to fight Cerrone. You and I knew that those were the rumors. You and I know those were in talks, but we didn't know it was at 170 pounds. What should I personally make of that? Should I believe that Conor is now a 170-pounder, or should I believe that he's doing a one-off and going to try to go back to 55?
Son, are you telling me Conor McGregor may jump the line? That's what he's trying to say? Because
at 170. I don't know. If you're talking about Khabib at 155, I was actually going to ask you that next. I feel you would know the answer if he's going to cut the line. But Ali, he's back at 170. Do we even discuss him and Khabib until he gets down to 155?
First of all, the Conor mystique is gone. Is Khabib took it, locked it, buried it, burned it, done. He's not, his mystique is gone. He might sell some pay-per-view and sell some tickets, but people now understand the man. People can say he's the double champion, he's this, he's this. First of all, there'll be a suicide for him to fight Kamaru, even if he wins. Secondly, he didn't want to cut weight because they're a bunch of lazy motherfuckers. They don't want to make the weight. And he's actually not very smart, because if he want to fight really Khabib, he would have fought Cerrone at 155. Because even if he beats Cerrone, you think Khabib is going to fight him at 155?
No.
Khabib said it. He needs to win 10 fights. And people think Khabib is talking. When Khabib said, I'm not fighting in Vegas, he didn't fight in Vegas. You know, for sure, financial standpoint, it's a good fight for Khabib, but I can't force him what to do because he's a man. He's different. He has principle. But if you're talking about Conor winning at 170 and coming fighting Usman, his family better have a life insurance because he might kill him. I don't think it's a fair fight. I don't think any athletic commission should approve a fight between Kamaru and Conor because I think something will happen to him. He'll probably get crippled. Something will happen bad to him. But I think he's getting smarter. Conor know he's not as good as he used to think he is. Because he's around people, they tell him, you the champ, you this, you this, you this. But he understands now. It's a young man from Dagestan by the name Khabib Nurmagomedov. Show him he have limited skill set. Show him he have a heart this big, a very small heart. Show him he questioned himself. You understand? That's it.
Ali, I hear you on that. Let me ask you, though, as a fan, as a guy that's been in the sport for a long time, how should we interpret Conor's return to 170? Because you pointed something out. You're suggesting that perhaps he's not going to 55 because he's lazy and doesn't want to cut the weight. That concerns me as a guy that people come to and ask, hey, where should I bet my money? I think that's a relevant part to the fight of 170 with Donald Cerrone. Look, if he's up at 170 because he's not training as hard as he used to, and now he's walking into a 5-round atmosphere while sitting on his ass for 2 years, I think it's relevant. So do you believe he's at 70 because he doesn't want to work hard enough to get to 55? Is that your opinion?
If he have a mind of a champion, right? And if he want to fight Khabib like he said in Russia, like Dana said, and like Dana doesn't believe the shit anymore. Dana's just a great fucking promoter. Dana one of the best promoter we ever seen. Scott Coker, like a lot of great promoter. I love Scott Coker too. I love Ray Safo. I love all these guys. But realistically, if you think you want to fight Khabib rematch, right? Who you fight? You fight the highest guy on the list. You make the weight and you show up and you fight. The highest guy on the list is a guy. He's actually a terrorist. People call him a terrorist. I call him a terrorist. He's a terrorist by the name of Justin Gaethje from Arizona, right? He just knocked out Cowboy, but Conor chose to fight the guy Justin knocked out, and he rightfully the next guy in line after Tony Ferguson, right? But he move up a weight class, beat a guy just lost, then make him what? Make him the next contender? No, Justin Gaethje is the next contender. That means Conor McGregor he want to beat Cerrone, and I have doubts. I think Cerrone might beat him, and I think maybe you fight Nate Diaz. The right fight for his career. To fight guys like Nate, like Cerrone, like this kind of guys. But fighting Khabib and fighting, Justin is going there is like a kamikaze. He is like kill or be killed, and I think Conor is not built like that. Like Justin Gaethje take people to very, very dark places. And we know what Conor does when he go to these dark places. He quit. We never see Justin Gaethje quit, right?
Sure.
We see Conor McGregor quit at least 4 or 5 times. But there's no quitting Justin Gaethje for sure.
All right, what is more likely? Kamaru beats Colby Covington. GSP says, I want my belt back. Or Khabib beats Tony Ferguson. GSP says, hey, Khabib, I want to crack at your belt. For you, the manager, which fight do you like better for George?
I've been fighting George. I've been friends with George for 11 years, right? I'm one of the reasons actually come back and fought for the middleweight division. I set up a meeting with Dana and Ari Manuel, and I met with them. And I didn't manage him, just as a friend. And we all met, and they made a deal, and they come back. And he have a great management, and they take care of him. But realistically, if George come back at 155 pounds, he have to make the weight. I don't think George at this point. I've been talking to George. I don't think George want to go down to 55. And honestly, if George want to make it at 160, 165, guess what? He earned it. He's a legend. And it's up to him and Khabib. But I have an obligation also to Justin Gaethje. Like you have to have an obligation. Tony Ferguson, he deserves a title shot. The right after him is Justin Gaethje. You can really cut in contenders. But if a guy like George St. Pierre said, I want to have a fun fight with Khabib, I'm sure Khabib will do it.
And how about Kamaru? I'm just saying, if George had to go in one of those directions, and we do get the return of George in 2020, that there has been speculation around.
Chael,
What do you think's more likely?
George cashed many checks for the UFC. He won many championships. He bring different. He's one of the great. My opinion, he's the greatest of all the time today. My opinion, he's the greatest of all the time. If he come in and he want to fight Kamaru Usman, he will get a shot before anybody. Of course he will. Before Masvidal, before anybody. I don't care who you are. George St. Pierre will jump the line. Doesn't matter who you are. 100%.
And I don't. And anyone that complains about that, right? It's kind of like, guys, you got a short-term memory. There's not a lot of guys that deserve that, but George does. He went out on top, and that's a rare thing to do.
Yeah, he went out on top and come back on top and left on top.
Did it again. All right. Hey,
you have to understand, this man, his career been clean, never got in trouble, no PED, none of the stuff. For hard not to put him the pound for pound grade is hard. You know, in a conversation, if Khabib go out there and beat Tony and beat somebody else and become 30-0, how you not going to say this man is not the greatest? You know, but we understand Tony is a tough test. We're ready for him, you know, and that's it.
Ali, I got to tell you, I missed you, buddy. It's great to catch up. Do you have anything else you want to get off your chest?
I just want to say, you know, I'm really looking forward to the Khabib and Tony fight. I really think I'm happy Tony's getting a title shot. He's been asking for this ass whipping for a long, long time, and finally got it, buddy. You're gonna get this ass whipping on April 18. Just everything is good, man. I'm just trying to come, be a better person, a better friend, and a better everything every day, and just move on and just be great at what you do.
Hey, tell me one thing before you jump. I appreciate you bringing up the fact that Tony and Khabib is officially signed. What was the backstory there? The rumor was that Khabib had signed, but Tony was holding out a little bit. But then, like 3 days went by, and Tony had his contract in. Was he holding out a little bit, or did he just not get to a fax machine? It can be as simple as that.
No, listen. At the end of the day, if you fight for a championship this kind of magnitude, you need to, you know, he want to make more money. But I told, like, let me tell you a story about this, right? It's a very important story. When Khabib fought Conor, Khabib have 2 fights left on his deal, right? We didn't do a new deal. We did 1 fight deal. And the UFC come up, they paid us as a champion. And after that, when Khabib beat Conor, he have 1 fight left, right? Sometime when you are a contender and you try to get a new deal, it can hurt you, because if Tony beat Khabib, he be the champion. Now we have more leverage. And I think maybe he want to get a new deal because he don't think he's going to beat Khabib and he's not going to be able to leverage it. You know, as part of it, he playing it safe. But sometimes the best way to make money to gamble on yourself.
Sure.
But I hope he got money. I wish him nothing but the best, and looking to see him get his ass whooped April 18th.
No, I hear you on that. It's 2 great guys. I can't wait for that fight. And thank you for your participation in getting that done. Good catching up with you, Ali.
You got it, Chael.
All right, guys. Ali Abdelaziz.